Sports fans, good afternoon. Welcome to Full Count, SportsMemo's MLB betting coverage show, coming to you live every weekday, Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be covering baseball with some of the best handicappers, analysts, columnists, and sports bettors on the planet. We're going to be giving out free picks on several games for today's card and plenty of time for you to get down on those free picks. I'm your host, world champion handicapper, Las Vegas' biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. Joining me today and giving out today's winners, we got a great Monday panel, guys. The First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico, and the Surgeon General of sports betting, Dr. Chuck. Happy Monday, Dionne. Happy Monday, Dr. Chuck. How are you today?
Good.
Happy Monday, guys. It's a great day.
It is Monday. We had a great weekend here in Vegas. My wife and I, the First Lady of Las Vegas, we sat by the pool a couple days. You could tell we're feeling a lot better than our COVID week a few weeks ago. We're glad to be back and basically at full strength. Guys, we've got a great show today. You know, you don't really realize this, but let me pull this out. It's only today's sports page. I do a lot of writing for our local, or I should say our state paper, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. You know, you really don't realize this, but a lot of these teams have, a third of the games are in the book for the regular season.
Yeah.
And it really does seem that the top team or two are starting to set themselves apart from the rest of these divisions. You know, the AL East, I mean, as good as Toronto has been playing, 8-2 their last 10, they're still 7.5 games out of first place with the Yankees just really. I mean, you know, every year we see New York, and I'm a Yankees fan, but every year we see New York hitting the ball, the Bronx Bombers, as we call them, but they're pitching, one of the best in both leagues. The Central, you know, Cleveland's making a go at it, but right now Minnesota 4.5 games in front. Guys, let's face it, no matter what any other team in the West does, the only team with a winning record right now, the Houston Astros. The NL East, I mean, the Mets, they're not the only New York team that are getting headlines right now. But Atlanta, 8.5 games back. The Central, interesting, Milwaukee and St. Louis. But we talked about this, Dionne, Dr. Chuck, and myself, we talked about this Central even before the season started. I called it a more or less a two-horse race. And the West, you know, the Dodgers are as good as any team in baseball. We know this. However, guys, when you get a whooping from the Pittsburgh Pirates, it tells me that this team may not be as good overall as we may think. You know, their record says they're a very good team, and there certainly is a lot of talent on the mound and at the plate. However, when you take a beating from the Pittsburgh Pirates just before All-Star break, it makes you think. That's all I'm saying. Sports fans, we're going to be covering 3 round table games. Dionne and Chuck will be chiming in on 3 games that we designated to talk about. Then we're going to each be taking part of the best bet segment. Before I go any further, we got a few things we'd like to tell everyone about. First of all, guys, this is just amazing. There are 2 days left for you to take advantage of this huge customer appreciation discount. Sports Memo customers love $9 Mondays, where each package is just $9. The last few days of this special that they put out last week until June 7th, we're offering a 30-day all-access pass from your favorite handicapper for $210. That comes to $7 a day. This special includes all daily plays from your favorite capper every day for 30 days, including 5% plays, normally priced at $39 alone. Once you sign up using coupon code June 30, you see it going across the bottom of your screen. You'll get every play sent to you as soon as they post it, and that's big, guys. Good for multiple users at Sports Memo. And tomorrow, guys, the one thing I love a lot of things about Sports Memo, but one of the things I really do love is, you know, it used to be tacos were just for Tuesdays, but $2 aren't just for tacos anymore. $2 Tuesday. Myself, Ross Benjamin, the Gold Sheet, get our big plays tomorrow, $2 each, or all 3 of us, which is the deal of the century. All 3 for just $5. Without any further ado, we have 3 round table games that Dionne and Chuck are going to be chiming in on. The first of which, guys, the Mariners at the Astros, used to the $1.80, 8 over 120. I've got to tell you, each of our round table games, I personally have a premium play on, so I'm not going to be chiming in on these. So, having said that, let's go to the First Lady of Las Vegas, who is all over the Sports Memo leaderboards. The first play, Dionne D'Amico, Mariners, Astros. Astros, $1.80, 8 over 120. What is your take on this game?
All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this game. Houston continues to widen their lead in the AL West. They presently have an 8.5 game cushion in the division. They have had their way with this division rival, taking 4 of the last 6 meetings. To make matters worse for the Mariners, the Astros have been almost perfect over the last week, going 6-1 their last 7. The offense is starting to hit, and they have one of the major's best pitching staffs, ranking 3rd with a team ERA of 2.93. Seattle just can't seem to put together any consistency. Christian Javier, in 41 innings pitched this season, has an ERA of 2.41, striking out 52 and only walking 15. The shaky Robbie Ray has lost his last 3 starts, allowing 11 earned runs in just 17 innings pitched. The Mariners are 16-41 the last 57 meetings with the Astros, 2-11 the last 13 following a win, and 7-16 the last 23 on the road. This morning, I liked Houston, but at minus 155 or so, thought the high. Now it's hovering around $1.80. If I had to play this game, I would put a lean on the run line. But at this price, I'm going to go ahead and stay away from this game.
The First Lady of Las Vegas said this morning she had her eye on this game. The line was a little too high. And you're right, Dan. You know, sports friends, Dionne and I, as you know, we are married. Don't remind me, but we are married. We get up the same time every day. She makes coffee. I get the newspaper and a pitching report. She has her office down the hall. I have my office. And this is a game that we both looked at. Now, I do like this game. I put it out this morning, so I'm not going to chime in on it. But she did mention to me she liked it, but she thought the line was a little high. Dionne,
yes.
The general public moved all over this game, brought it from $1.55, $1.60 up to $1.80. You're saying a small lean on the run line,
yes.
But you think there are better games on the board. Is that correct?
I do. I believe that there's other games on the board. So I would kind of stay away from this game. But if I had to at least give an opinion, I would at least take them on the run line.
Now, sports fans, I don't know if you know this, and I didn't realize this till this morning. On Friday when she did because Dionne did the MLB show and the First Family show, I believe you went 4-1 between your games that you gave out that day. Your free play run is something like 40-something and 10 and 11. You're on fire. And if your free plays are doing that, sports fans, just imagine what our premium plays are doing over at SportsMemo. That's all I've got to say about that. That's my homage to Forrest Gump. We're going to go to the Surgeon Den General of sports betting. Guys, Dr. Seuss, Dr. J, and Dr. Chuck, they're the only 3 doctors that matter in my book. I am proud to kick off the week with Dr. Chuck because he is my favorite. He's one of my favorite people in this business. As entertaining as he is informative. Dr. Chuck, Seattle at Houston, give us your take, please.
I love following Dionne because she lays it all out there. She does not mince words with giving everything that you need to know about the game. I tricked Joe into having his wife go first to lay that all out there, and she hit on a couple of spots, and so did Joe. Two things that she mentioned that are dead on. The line, and you know, I like to do this fade the beg thing, and why are they, you know, maybe the line didn't seem to match what you'd match. Christian Javier is one of the guys that if you follow me, you know we're all over that guy. If he's pitching, we're probably going to be on it. Dionne mentioned it's a home team, and I say this a lot. I don't often take home teams on the run line, but when I do, there's usually a big reason. The Astros are way different on the run line at home against divisional foes than they are against non-division. On the season, they only cover the run line half the time, but when it's a divisional foe, they're 7-2 straight up, but 6-3 on the run line. Return on investment is huge there. Robbie Ray doesn't look analytically or by the eye test like the Cy Young pitcher that we thought that, you know, I think he's going to come around because I trust his stuff, but Javier's stuff is amazing. I don't use ERA. I use FIP, but his FIP is deadlocked with his newspaper numbers, and it's just another reason to back him. I like getting that home team run line plus money because you might only get the 8 at bats and you're going to get a better juiced, you know, price here. I don't really have a good feel on the total because if I had to take anything, I would probably trust Robbie Ray a little bit more than he deserves and go under. I also have a play later that we're going to talk about that would lean me that way. But I'm very interested to read what we get Joe's play, and obviously he's not going to talk about it here, but I would be willing to put a little bit on that Astros run line at home.
Sports fans, the doctor has made a house call. He says a little something on the Astros run line. Great breakdown, great analysis as usual, Dr. Chuck. We've come to expect nothing less from you. You know, I want to tell you, Doc, I've been doing this for over 30 years in this business here in Vegas, and I've seen guys come and go. And I've seen websites and brands come and go, and I've never seen a website with the integrity or transparency that we have over at SportsMemo, and you epitomize that. When you're good, you're great, and when you're not doing so good, you're extremely transparent about that. But when you're one of the great ones like Dr. Chuck is, sports fans, you can afford to be totally honest because he is one of the best. He's all over leaderboards over at SportsMemo. Small lean Astros run line. Great breakdown, Doc. Now, guys, don't go anywhere. We've got 2 more roundtable games, then our best bet segment. Our second of 3 roundtable games. Interesting matchup, guys. Red Sox at Angels. Los Angeles, $1.15, 9/20. Now, if I read this correctly, Dr. Chuck and Dionne, these Angels, I believe they're on an 11-game skid. And yet, the odds makers are begging you, daring you right here. $1.15 favorite over a Red Sox team who showed signs of life lately. Dionne?
Yes.
Boston, LA. Tell us your take, please.
Guys, I think the wrong side is favored here, despite the Red Sox dropping 2 of 3 against the Angels in the first meeting at the beginning of May. But these are 2 very different teams presently. Boston is on a 4-game win streak. Los Angeles, as everyone knows, has lost 11 in a row. Michael Wacha is 3-1 with a 2.43 ERA and owns a 2-0 record with a 0.77 ERA in 2 career starts versus the Angels. Noah Syndergaard is 4-3 with a 4.02 ERA and has faced the Red Sox 3 times over his career, going 1-1 with a 3.05 ERA. Los Angeles just can't do anything right, guys. Their offense has accounted for just 2 runs per game over the last 6. Their pitching staff has yielded 7 runs per game during their current lose streak. Boston is 8-0 the last 8 versus the AL West, 4-0 the last 4 versus right-handed starters, and 4-0 the last 4 on the road. I think the Red Sox should be a slight favorite here, so getting them as a dog is a gift, so go ahead and take Boston.
The First Lady of Vegas, who I may have to hit with divorce papers because we know how much I hate everything from the state of the Massachusetts, says take the Red Sox. You know, Dr. Chuck, sports fans, Dionne made a real good point here. I personally look at games. I know Dionne, I know Dr. Chuck, and all the great cappers over at SportsMemo. We look at games, and then perhaps we look at streaks or trends to confirm our initial feeling on a game. And you look at a game, you look at certain trends and streaks, and I did look at this game, and I put it out there. And, Dan, you made a point. You said, Los Angeles took 2 of 3 in the first meeting about a month ago, but these are 2 very different teams right now. So, guys, when you're looking at a streak or a trend, you've got to take into consideration the situation surrounding those streaks and trends. Injuries, what's going on, their current streaks. I mean, Dionne made a good point of this. Very good breakdown, Dionne.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you, honey. I'm proud of you. You know, it's nice to see a D'Amico's name up on the leaderboard, but when I see 2 of them, I'm quite proud. Good work on the breakdown. Let's go to the doctor. The doctor making a house call today, early on in the week. Doc, Red Sox Angels, your take, please.
I was so hoping you'd hit us with the information about the streak before we got the solo shot. So I love this stuff. And Joe just mentioned that the streaks and trends. So losing 11 games, baseball, we were mentioning baseball is a long haul. I talk about this all the time. The team that's going to win the World Series is going to lose 70 times. This is not like any other sport you could see. And that's why I love it so much. In database history, 108 times has a team lost 11 or more in a row. And Dionne mentioned this. Joe mentioned it first. 8 times were they favored. And in those games, you probably won't be surprised because the bookmakers know all. They are 6-2 in those games, 6-2 against the run line as well. Why is that? I'm totally with Dionne here. I went to bed last night thinking that this is going to be Red Sox, and I have a couple buddies that think you just take the losing streak and you bet against it, and then you double it the next night, and then you double it the next night, and they have to win eventually because it's baseball. But I was thinking that this was going to be Red Sox too. This line is definitely going to keep me off of it because it just makes literally no sense. Obviously, Trout's going to get out of it. Obvious, maybe it's not as obvious, but to me, obviously, Michael Wacha is going to be due for some negative regression because I just don't buy that 10 years later he can become this again, and I just can't trust him. I couldn't possibly give you a side on this, although I would probably lean under, which I know it goes against Wacha, but if I had to put money on a team to win this game, I guess I'm taking the Angels because it makes no sense. But yeah, I mean, Dionne brought up a lot of good points.
Sports fans, the doctor says a small lean on the under if he had to play the game because the line doesn't make sense. He would go the opposite side. Doc, let me ask you this. You know, we look at sports like NBA and NFL, well, NFL, NBA, NCAA basketball, and NCAA football that are line sports. You know, a lot of times we look at certain teams that are winning or losing and we say due for factor. You said basically today, you know, hey, when do you look at the Angels that due for a win, or Trout due to break out, or Waka, maybe he's playing a little bit above himself after so many years of being subpar.
Exactly. And I guess what makes this so interesting is this 11-game streak just yesterday put them under 500. You know, that's what's so interesting about this is last year we had the D-backs and earlier this year we had the Reds. And those teams, probably we could have put out a wager, how many times will this team lose 8, 9, 10 in a row? And so what makes this so crazy is, you know, Trout hasn't had a hit in, I think, close to 30 at-bats. You know, the Angels can't get anything right. They have really good starting pitching. They have a phenomenal lineup. Ohtani goes out there. The Yankees slaughter him. You know, I mean, this is just so much more different and not expected. You know, this would be like the Yankees or Dodgers. I mean, this team was in first place. You mentioned it. Only the Astros are above 500 now, and they were almost in first place in their division when this started. So they're due at some point. I mean, they're going to win this week. Let's be serious.
Well, maybe I'm due to get out of the doghouse with my marriage, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know, it's the funny thing how we have so many great cappers here at SportsMemo and different angles on specific games. That's what I love about SportsMemo is we're not cookie cutouts of one another. You're going to get different ways that we look at games, different ways that we handicap games, and you're going to get different ways that we talk about games. You know, I know I'm very shy and bashful and a little introverted. No, I'm just kidding. But I know that and that's why I love SportsMemo, guys. That's what I'm saying. The best collection of cappers at SportsMemo. Good breakdown, Doc. I love it. I love the fact that I have two documented winning cappers on the show, and they're looking at games very differently. And I know that at least one of these two great documented winning cappers is tailor-made for someone out there. Sports fans, we've got another roundtable game for you. You know what's funny, guys, is I'm always, you know, I've been living in Vegas 32 years. I'm never going to lose my accent. My son, who is an ex-Marine, love him with all my heart, 25 years old, born and raised here, because my accent's so heavy. He talks just like I do. Not very pretty when we both get together. But I will tell you this. You know, I am a Yankee fan. I'm always going to be a Yankee fan. But New York has two very good teams right now. And I could see the headlines in the back of the Post talking about Subway Series already. I think it's a little premature to start talking Subway Series. But it's interesting that two of the best teams in baseball are both in the Big Apple. So, Dionne D'Amico, the First Lady of Las Vegas, Mets at Padres. New York currently $120, 7.5 under 115. Dionne, take it away.
Well, Joey, the Yankees aren't the only New York team grabbing headlines and piling up victories. The Mets are on fire, winning 8 of their last 10. And their confidence must be high here because they have done well against the Padres, taking 4 of the last 5 meetings. Carlos Carrasco takes the hill, 6-1 with the 3.63 ERA on the campaign. For San Diego, Blake Snell, 0-2 with a 4.80 ERA this season. The combo of New York's third-ranked offense, which accounts for over 5.1 runs per game, and their 7th-ranked pitching staff donning a 3.59 team ERA, is going to be too much for the San Diego to deal with. The Mets, 6-1 the last 7 following a win, 5-1 the last 6 during game 1 of a series, and 5-1 the last 6 versus left-handed starters. So go ahead and take New York here, guys.
The First Lady of Las Vegas redeeming herself for taking the Red Sox in the earlier roundtable game with her husband, guys. As we say, she's saying, and I don't know if you guys remember this, meet the Mets, come. It was an old commercial on WOR, which was a really bad station back in New York back in the day. First Lady of Vegas says, take the Mets. It's a really good breakdown, Dionne. You're doing real great today. And, you know, obviously we talked about this earlier on the show. Your free plays on fire, 40-something, like 10 or 11. Guys, she's on fire for premium. For free plays, you're doing that. Imagine what a premium place can do for you. I need to know if Dr. Chuck's going to agree with the First Lady on this one. Doctor, take it away.
So I And for those that follow me, I mentioned Christian Javier just a little bit ago, and he's definitely, I base a lot of my capping outside of the trends and analytics and stuff that we've talked about on starting pitching, which is why I'm a very heavy first five better, totals, sides, spreads. You're going to get solid value on a spread because you are going to always equal the at-bats. They're always going to have full 5 innings and things like that. And if I love Christian Javier, then I don't even know what the word is for Carlos Carrasco. His FIP is a full 0.8 of a point better than his ERA. The guy's been fantastic. I don't trust Blake Snell as far as I can throw him, especially against this lineup. Take into account a lot of different things. One thing we haven't mentioned yet is, unfortunately for San Diego, and I mean, good for them for doing what they did in Milwaukee, but they're both these teams are traveling back on the same time frame without rest. And I don't need a lot of extra incentive to fade a team that's traveled a couple of time zones across, didn't have rest, and just got back after a road trip. I like the Mets on the first 5 especially. I also kind of like the under first 5-4 just because, I think Blake Snell first couple times through the lineup isn't going to be terrible, and I could see it being like a 3-0 Mets game. But yeah, I'd be Mets or bust here, and I just love everything about Carrasco, even against the Padres lineup, and especially the spot.
There you go. Dr. Chuck says first 5 Mets, possibly the Mets under first 5. Doc Dan, you know what I realized just now while I was listening to your 2 great analyses. Traditionally, and we're going to talk about both New York teams very quickly. Traditionally, New York Yankees always hit. Their pitching lets them down. Why are they winning so well? Because they're hitting and their pitching is stepped up. Traditionally, the Mets, good pitching, their hitting's letting them down. But right now, their hitting is stepped up while their pitching is maintaining. It's a funny thing when things go full circle and come around. Both New York teams playing well. It's a good breakdown, Doc. So just to go over the games real quick. First round table game, you both agree, leans on the Astros on the run line. Second round table game, Dionne D'Amico says Red Sox. Dr. Chen says lean on possibly the under. Third round table, emphatically, Dionne says the Mets. Dr. Chuck says under 5, possibly, but definitely first 5 Mets. Good stuff, guys. Sports fans, don't go anywhere. We have our most exciting part of the show, our best bet segments, and I got a feeling we're going to have a little bit of fun right now. So having said that, real quick, I just want to tell everybody one more time about the discount SportsMemo is offering. Guys, this is incredible. The customer service you receive is unrivaled in this business. Everybody loves $9 Mondays, where each package is $9. The last few days of the special, guys, it ends on the 7th. They're offering a 30-day all-access pass from your favorite handicapper for $210. That's only $7 a day. This special includes all daily plays from your favorite handicapper every day for 30 days. That includes 5% plays, normally priced at $39 alone. Once you sign up using coupon code June30, you see it going across the bottom of your screen. You're going to get every play sent to you as soon as they post it. And that's really important. I'll touch on it in a second. Good for multiple uses at SportsMemo. Guys, listen, it's one thing to get somebody's plays through the day when you're looking for, your favorite capper or a game that you're looking that a capper is going to be on. But it's another thing to get them sent to you as soon as the cappers post them. I know a lot of guys wait a little bit later on in the day for lines to maybe tweak in their direction. But a lot of people put them up early. So you get to take advantage of a lot of these plays before line movements. You get them sent to you as soon as the cappers put them up. So now, without any further ado, our best bet segment, we're going to go ladies first. Dionne D'Amico, tell us about your best bet, please. And also tell us about what you're excited about tonight, maybe over the next few days over at SportsMemo.
I have 3 big winners on the diamond today. I have my Monday Moneymaker, my AL Total of the Week, and my home run play. You can get all of them right now posted at SportsMemo for just $9 for $9 Monday. And for my free play, sports fans, I went 3-1 on last Friday's full count show. And today we start off the new week, but we're going to have the same result. Let's go to the American League, where we see 2 teams facing each other in game 1 of a series in which both are hoping to make the postseason. The Cleveland Guardians sit just 4.5 games back in second place in the Central. Texas is 9.5 games back in the West. The Guardians are starting to heat up, winning 6 of their last 8, while the Rangers continue to struggle, dropping 5 of their last 8. Cleveland enters the first meeting between these 2 teams this season with some authority, knowing that they have taken 6 of the last 8 matchups against Texas the last few seasons. A big change in Cleveland. over recent weeks has been their pitching staff, which over the last 17 games sports a team ERA of 2.71. Starting today is Quantrill, who has a 2-3 record with a 3.52 ERA on the campaign. He is opposed by Gray, who owns a 1-2 mark with a 4.83 ERA. With Cleveland's bats starting to heat up and their pitching staff currently getting better, I look for them to extend their win streak with this rivalry. They are 4-1 the last 5 meetings with Texas at Progressive Field, 4-1 the last 5 during game 1 of a series, and 42-17 the last 59 as a home favorite. So go ahead and take the Guardians here.
First Lady of Vegas says take the Guardians. Dionne, I realize that during your analyses, I'm sitting here and really listening to them and soaking them up. You give something for just about every type of bettor out there in an analysis. And I really give you my hats off to you. Really thorough analysis, good stuff. Sports fans, she's got the Guardians minus $1.15. Now, I do want you to know that we only had 6 games on the board. We covered 3 in the round table segment. Pickers were kind of slim today. I'm interested to see what Dr. Chuck came up with on his best bet segment. Let's see if great minds think alike or if he came up with something different. Dr. Chuck, take it away.
Well, as you guys are watching the show, I'm not sure how much extra sound you're getting. I hope you're not getting any feedback from the unbelievable thunderstorms that are hitting right now. And not to give away Joe's pick and to, not to sandbag the beautiful First Lady and I, but it's a thunderstorm disaster here in Ohio, and both Ohio teams just happen to be home. So fingers crossed, there are some best bets that actually take place on this calendar day. I think I'm not 100% sure what we decided here, but my best bet was also on the Guardians. I love we come across this. We don't talk about this, and we put them together, and the pickings were slim. Covered 3 games. We're going to cover up all but 1 game. All but that Blue Jays game is going to be covered just on this show, which is awesome. I think small slates are great. I know Andrew McGinnis talks about this a lot on Puck Time. Sometimes he finds more value on the smaller slates than he does when everybody's playing, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And I think that's the case tonight. I'm a Cal Quantrill guy. Even more so, I'm a Carl Willis guy who's Tito's right-hand man as the pitching coach. This guy is really underrated. Dionne mentioned how good this pitching staff is on the whole. The bullpen's phenomenal. Since Carl Willis took over just in Cleveland on this second stint, they've been the best bullpen in the entire major leagues 3 times. This season is looking like the 4th, especially the last 2 weeks, where their FIP is 1.74. And for those that love ERA, it's 1.2. I mean, after Carl Quantrill leaves, the Rangers are faced with the best bullpen, and they have John Gray on the other side, and they're coming off of that terrible loss, a blown save loss. Bush, vomits all over himself, and they lose the game to the Mariners, which I'm a little frustrated about because that was my 5-unit play on the Rangers with a 3-run lead in the 9th. But it's just not a good spot. I talked about the spot with the Padres. They have to get up off of their asses and travel to Cleveland and play the Guardians with a pitching advantage and a hitting advantage. By the way, the player with the most RBIs in the entire league plays for the Guardians in the middle of that lineup, and John Gray is going to wear down quickly. And I like everything about this. Because Dionne already put that out, I always want to give you a couple quick things. I don't want to give away the same play and just look weak. I like the Grand Salami today, under 55.5. You've got to get these games in Ohio to play because otherwise your bet's canceled and, you get your money back. But I think there's a lot of sneaky under spots here, especially with rain. And I think 55 is about 5 too high, honestly.
Dr. Chuck, another great breakdown, and great minds think alike. Unfortunately, there is some weather situations throughout the country. We don't have to deal with weather, Dionne and myself, because every day it's 100 degrees and 2% humidity here in Vegas. But you know what? Good breakdown, great stuff. And sportsmen, as we said, we covered 3 round table games, and there was only 3 more on the board. Pickings were a little slim. Good breakdown, guys. After the show, take advantage of some of those great customer appreciation discounts over SportsMemo. Follow Dr. Chuck. Guys, I got my best bet segment. Let me bring my face, because I'm a little shy, to the forefront. Dionne and Dr. Chuck will be back in a second for some last thoughts and comments. Real quick, guys. Fresh off another game of the year, 10% winner Sunday in the NBA. By the way, 7-0 this NBA season with 10% releases. Overall, I want to thank the good folks over at SportsMemo, Mel, she's one of the best I've ever worked with in any business, let alone this business. She hit me up. She said, some great people, some of you great people that give me your support out there, sent some emails in to SportsMemo this morning. She says, Joe D, man, he is money in big game situations. So she pulled up some of my stats. She says, Joe, I don't know if you know this, but in the calendar year 2022, you're 10-1 overall in 10% plays. I didn't even realize that, but I am 7-0 in NBA. But, guys, it's not going to stop right there. Today, I will sweep the board in MLB. I have 3 big winners for you. I have my best bet, my grand slam, and my double play winners. You can get all 3 and go 3-0, but one instruction first, grab a broom. I'm so sure I'm going to sweep today that I'm also posted 3-pack for you. So each game individually, because it's $9 Monday, is $9, but the savings don't stop there. I want to save you even more money. You can go over to SportsMemo right now, get my 3-pack of Monday baseball winners, $25. Now, guys, I really did well with free plays last week. I think I don't even know if I had a loser on any of the shows last week. If I did, I had one. Don't quote me. And then I put up a couple of extra free plays in written form just on the SportsMemo site. But I'm going to continue to give you free play winners. Let's go to a game that's definitely under the radar, even with a 6-game schedule. The game I have for you under the radar is neither team in this matchup has a real chance of making the playoffs. However, that doesn't mean, as Dr. Chuck said earlier, we can't make money with them now. The Arizona Diamondbacks haven't had too many things to smile about over recent seasons. However, one thing they can definitely be happy with themselves is their domination of the Cincinnati Reds. They have won 5 consecutive meetings in the series going back to April of last season. And while starter Madison Bumgarner is certainly sliding a bit, he is very familiar with the Reds. The veteran has made 10 starts against them over his career. Cincy counters with rookie pitcher Hunter Green. Sorry, Reds fans, and sorry, I know Dr. Chuck is a big Cincinnati guy. Guys, this guy is awful. That's all I'm going to say. Awful. 2-7 with a 6.19 on the campaign. As a matter of fact, the team has lost 8 of his 10 starts in 2022. Just over his last 2 turns and 8.2 innings pitched, he's allowed 9 earned runs on 13 hits. Like I said, guys, awful, horrible, deplorable. Any other word you want to use to describe him, just throw it in there. Look for the Diamondbacks to continue their domination of the Reds, especially because they're 8-2 the last 10 during game 1 of the series. They start series well, guys. While Cincy, just listen to some of these stats, guys. 1-4 the last 5 at home, 14-37 the last 51 versus the NOS. 3-9 the last 12 is a favorite, 4-11 the last 15 versus left-handed starters. I'm taking the underdog Arizona team here to win big. Follow me, and we're both going to make Monday a payday. Sports fans, let's bring the crew back. This is a good-looking bunch, guys. Listen, don't tell this to any of the cappers out on SportsMemo, but we're better looking than all of them. Anyway, guys, be sure to tune in every weekday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, to this show, Full Count, SportsMemo's MLB betting coverage show, coming to you live with special guests every day. Tomorrow, my good buddy, the hardest working man in sports betting, John Ryan, is going to be hosting. Joining him, I should say, Rocky Atkinson and JM Sports are going to be stopping by. Don't forget that $7 special, and then tomorrow's $2 Tuesday deal with me, Joe D, Ross, and the Gold Sheet. And I'm going to be putting up another big, at least a 5-unit winner, 5% winner. Before we go anywhere, Dionne D'Amico, any closing thoughts or comments?
Not really. I'm looking forward to $2 Tuesday.
There you go. I love her.
For you guys, yeah.
I love her. She's amazing. Not only is she cute, but she can pick winners too. Dr. Chuck, closing thoughts and comments. By the way, not only is he cute, but he can pick winners too. Doc.
I hate for it to be the case, but I mean, you're just right. I mean, when it's obvious to pick Mad Bum at 56 years old to beat the Reds, I mean, it's obviously not going well for Cincy. The one thing I do want to say that I meant to mention right after Dionne talked, I'm pretty bullish that I don't know what you have right now, but the Guardians division futures is somewhere in the vicinity of 8 or 10 to 1 right now. I think that's pretty solid. They're still, the bookmakers still love the White Sox, and so it's going to keep dropping with each time they get wins and play series like the Rangers. It's going to keep dropping, but that's good value.
Dr. Chuck hit something before we sign off, guys. He hit the nail on the head. I'm not a guy that likes to make long-term futures bets unless I find enormous value in them. Listen, prior to season startings, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, it's usually the top few teams, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1. I'm going to tell you now, when you start getting to double digits where it offer value, if you're going to lock your money up for 5, 6, 7 months during a long season, make sure it offers you value. It's a really good point, Dr. Chuck. Thank you. So, guys, it's time to say goodbye to our Monday show. This is Joe D'Amico on behalf of Sports Memo, the First Lady of Las Vegas, Dionne D'Amico, the Surgeon General of Sports Betting, Dr. Chuck. Good luck and have a winning day.